Space Nerds, Alpha 4.7 is coming next week. It's locked in, it's gonna happen. But we don't know everything that's coming. We know basically everything, but there's still a couple little details and some new ships that we still haven't heard about. So today we're gonna watch through what CIG has delivered for their last little messaging on the update before it goes out next week, and hopefully get some more little bits of context and stuff there. I'll try to throw in anything that I noticed, but thanks for joining me to watch it together.
An NPC called Jared, you're the player character called Nigel Thickness? Let's jump inside Star Citizen and take a quick look at some of what's coming in next week's release of Alpha 4.7. Let's go.
Rockcracker, obviously the most visually interesting thing.
Now, the big headline feature in Alpha 4.7 is our new operation, Breaker Stations, also referred to as the artist formerly known as Rockcracker.
Okay, so they are dropping the name Rockcracker then. Gonna have to get that out of our heads. Oh boy. Trying to keep up with CIG's naming conventions throughout the alpha phase is a game on its own.
The PTU, Breaker Stations invite you to visit these derelict stations, find your way inside, restore operational control in whatever manner you can, clear out some baddies, because there's always some baddies.
Baddies, dude.
And then
Nix is bringing out the baddies.
Reward, which in this case is a bunch of cool minerals you have to...
Okay, this is my favorite part of this.
And then
this whole firing
reward.
the laser thing. We didn't do this when I first ran this whole conflict. So when the laser fired, we only got this one main laser and none of the reflections to like help crack the rock open. You can still do that. So there are fail states to this dungeon, which I find quite nice. I like the ability to fail at doing something while still actually making it work and then needing to go through the like, okay, why didn't that work? Let's try some more stuff. We need a lot more of that in this game, but I'm really glad to see it happening in these dungeons this early. And don't make a mistake, this is a dungeon. These are one of the many locations that they just want to get into the game so that whenever the game comes out to 1.0, there's like 18 different things people can choose to go do for a little story.
Is a bunch of cool minerals you have to fly inside an asteroid to retrieve. It's the next major content drop for Star Citizen this year, looking to build upon the work from previous operations like Stormbreaker, Onyx Facilities, and Welcome to Nyx, complete with optional paths to success and greater rewards for those who unlock all of its secrets.
Yeah, I love that. And I have not gotten back into the cracked rock the first time we did. We had a 30k and got locked inside. But besides that, feels like what we saw, the torite in there, was not enough to justify the amount of work that goes into this. So a lot of balancing is going to need to happen here, but it's at least a fun thing to go through. Now, for this first month or two that it's out, it's going to be crowded. They have a lot of opportunities for you to do it in a more private location, but there's still the chance that players will come and find you there. So just like everything else, might want to wait a little bit to give this some space to breathe so that you can have a nice private, your own pace play session until they get instancing working. But I do think this is a pretty solid addition.
But these breaker stations also come with a unique twist. There are exclusive and contested versions available to all players. The exclusive options will make it easier for dedicated groups of players to tackle the content on their own without too much interference from the universe as a whole.
Too much.
Contested locations will provide a more rambunctious adventure for people who like a little more chaos in their lives. In either case, bring backup.
To be quite honest, I'm not sure I understand having this be a chaotic environment. Hathor, it makes sense. Stormbreaker, yeah, I don't know. The way that this plays out, wanting to do the story, it feels weird to have a bunch of players trying to kind of rating your session for this, but we'll see.
Now, additionally, there are even more locations without the rock to crack, dedicated to a variety of sandbox missions that will be unlocking a few weeks after release. So altogether, these breaker stations represent an exciting progression in location scale, combined arms combat, industrial opportunities, the ongoing conversation about PvE, PvP, and PvPvE, and just in general, everyone coming together to either help or hinder one another, depending on which contract and what experience you choose.
All personnel Be advised, mining laser sequence activated.
That's not all 4.7 has to offer. The long-fabled inventory improvements are upon us, providing the next evolution of Star Citizen's interface for indexing, interacting, and evoking all the irregular items you intersect with throughout the universe. With new functionalities that affect everything from stacking to displaying inherent quality, and a spiffy new look that should cut down on time looking for the right stuff, it's a major quality of life improvement for the verse that will not just continue to improve beyond 4.7, but set up the foundation for other new features along the way.
So, I want to say about the inventory, I put out a video about this on the main channel just today, and I love it. It's a great improvement. Especially the ability to move all has been really nice. That's something I didn't know that I loved that much, but it's really nice to be able to move all, especially because it seems like it picks the stuff that it knows you need. Like if there's ammo in a box and you have a specific gun, it always seems like it manages to get the ammo I actually need when I do move all. That might just be a coincidence. But there are definitely some things that still need to be improved here. I think one of the biggest ones is I would love to be able to have an open custom box for like the backpack to be able to just drag it around the screen and move things in and out. It's nice to have two different panels like this, and it's good, but I could definitely feel it getting a little bit more customizable. If you are the logistics head in your squad, then maybe you want a more in-depth inventory that you can manage that other people just don't want to see. And I think we should be able to do that. Hopefully they expand on this. For now, I think it's a really great step up for the inventory, and it's going to make the game a lot smoother and easier to play. But it's still just a step. And that's unfortunate considering we're past server meshing, past 4.0, past when I thought we would still be getting incremental upgrades. But the fact of the matter is, and this is something I'm realizing, it's still alpha. And for the entirety of this alpha phase, it's going to be like this. So buckle in, folks.
Life improvement for the verse that will not just continue to improve beyond 4.7, but set up the foundation for other new features along the way. And one of those other new features include the first iteration of crafting, the next major step forward in allowing citizens to shape and conform the universe as they see fit. What starts with customizing an FPS item to handle and perform the way you'd like is the beginning of a journey throughout this year that will bolster the agency and combine the efforts of all players throughout
Oh, they were trying to show. No, I thought they were trying to show the difference there in the weapon firing. That was interesting.
To handle and perform the way you'd like is the beginning of a journey throughout the
Well, what they do show here, it's funny because this is not 4 out of 4 SCU, which would be insane to need 4 SCU of aluminum to make a single gun. It's actually CSCU, but this is a glitch that even shows up on the official reading. In general, the crafting's been pretty fun. You can get some crazy stat improvements, but I am interested in how much this is all going to get nerfed in terms of stat improvements because we're only dealing with our first tier of upgrades. There are 3 tiers for all objects, 5 tiers for ships. So if we're already seeing plus 60% improvements from tier 1 crafting, does that really leave you much room to then do the upgrading from blueprints in the future that we're supposed to get? I don't think so. So as much as this is a very nice improvement and dismantling is a ton of fun to just get materials and build more stuff, it's not final. It's not going to stay like this. So we'll see where they go. Probably 4.8, 4.9. I mean, I say probably. I've got my fingers crossed. I hope they do not take more than a half a patch cycle off on improving crafting. We'll see.
This year that will bolster the agency and combine the efforts of all players throughout every aspect of Star Citizen's gameplay. Whether you're the miner who collects raw materials, or the salvager,
the miners yearn for the mines.
You're collecting unique components, the refinement specialist producing the highest grade commodities, or the long-haul trucker delivering everything to where it's needed most. The
great chance to drop the whole B in there, CIG.
And rarest blueprints, or the combat specialist.
Yeah. That's me right there.
Who hunts for the latest and rarest blueprints.
Let's go.
Or the combat specialist who serves as both client and protector. The crafting journey that begins here with Alpha 4.7 is an essential element to realizing the living, breathing, interactive universe that we've been building towards, and is one of the most exciting additions to the universe this year. And of course,
I think people got crafting wrong a bit. People People, I mean, crafting is a cool feature to come in, but in Star Citizen, we're very used to getting a cool new feature, going into the patch, trying it out in a game session, and then like having our thoughts. But this feels more, it's kind of like engineering. It's more of a layer on top of everything else. I don't think anybody should jump into 4.7 and think, I'm going to do crafting. I think everyone should jump into 4.7 and think, I'm going to do what I normally do and factor crafting into that. Get your loot. Look for better minerals. Salvage, I'm sorry, you're not included yet. But find your blueprints. Whatever it is, I think instead of focusing on just trying to experience salvage crafting, getting it involved more in the rest of the game seems like the obvious choice for it. And I'm freaking out. I'm so pumped.
As with every new system, there's going to be a host of changes along the way. So be sure you check out the new crafting guide that releases alongside Alpha 4.7 with all the latest info. Now, of course,
that's awkward.
At the beating heart of Star Citizen is its spaceships. And
I was thinking about making a crafting and blueprint hunting guide in the beginning of next week. Now I'm not sure if I should wait.
4.7 is bringing with it a host of changes and improvements to spaceship gameplay as development pushes towards the eagerly awaited tactical strike groups this spring. And that starts with the next iteration of shield and armor updates. For shields, this means changes to overall health and the effectiveness of energy weapons. For armor, this includes adjusting the minimum damage requirements to make it harder for smaller projectiles to penetrate, as well as creating an evolving progression of what types of weapons to use when in select situations.
This is very far outside of my wheelhouse in terms of what I cover, but I've been doing some testing on this, and I do want to make coverage because this is an interesting change. It's, once again, just partway there, just like with crafting, just like with engineering, just like with armor. Really, all these systems that are being involved, they're all just going to start slowly progressing over time. So even though we're getting new features, these features are going to be getting built out quite a bit. And this is definitely one of those. It's cool because you suddenly feel like you can't do a lot of damage to a big ship when you're in a small ship, or you have small weapons like repeaters. Ballistic repeaters literally do nothing to ships anymore if they have shields up. But it's still, there's still some inconsistencies there that make things weird. Regardless, we're starting to finally step into a period of strategic combat. You're now going to have to pay attention to what the loadout is on your ship and what you're going up against, and that, I think, changes things quite a bit for a lot of people who do fighting.
There's changes to radar and detection systems, where the type of equipment you have and the power assigned to both now directly affect the range. Things like aim pips and ESP come into play.
Finally. This was actually one of the things that was worrying when they started doing engineering, because it seemed like they were going to just arbitrarily limit things, but now they're starting to tie your ship's performance to your power availability, which is big. They're also going to tie our maximum speed to power availability. Now we've got the ability to lock on. I'm sure the ability, I mean, obviously your burners, your afterburners and boost. It's cool. It's cool. The ships are starting to feel actually like working machines instead of just
vehicles. It's to missile explosions that mean the explosion radius of external hits become more focused and should no longer damage internal components without first breaching an opening. As well as a pass on many of the doors, ramps, and lifts in ships to improve their durability, because we're about to give people a much bigger reason to target them from now on. And of course, if you've been on PTU the last few weeks, you've already seen how much these values have fluctuated. That's all part of the process of taking advantage of the testing at scale that you provide us. Now,
it's been getting that rage, these fluctuations too. It's entertaining to watch.
As with all balance-related feature changes, these will continue to be tested and adjusted on PTU after this is aired, and even beyond our live release. So be sure you check out the patch notes for the latest details and keep the feedback on Spectrum and Issue Council coming. Also in 4.7, there's new factions to encounter, new space stations to explore, new armors to be acquired, expanded salvage contracts.
Nice.
And hey, don't forget
I didn't know there were expanded salvage contracts.
Expanded salvage contracts.
Looks like they're asking for UMC, RMC components. I thought these were in 4.6. Maybe not.
And hey, don't forget, the story of Alpha 4.7 doesn't end with its intended release next week. That's because there are still several point patch content drops between now and Alpha 4.8 in May, including
several.
Alpha 4.7.
Point 1. He means 4.7.1.
Okay.
Which is about 2 weeks after that, with the newly redesigned Hull B, which we'll reveal in about 2 weeks. Oh, The Gray Cat UTV, which we can show you now.
Ooh, nice. That thing's looking good, dude. Yes, I've been waiting for this. All right, ever since they showed it off, which was, I want to say 4 years ago now. And it looks like it's gone through some small changes, some slight changes here and there. Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit bigger almost. But pretty much the same. I like it, dude. I really like what Gray Cat does with their vehicles. They look just utility enough, but also still pretty casual. I'm gonna keep one of these in my extra large hangar so I don't have to run to the ships anymore.
Hey, little guy. The Captains of Industry promotion, which sees the return.
Wait a second, I'm just realizing the UTV has a freaking truck bed in the back. Hold the phone, dude. Wait, that's huge. Is this the first ground vehicle of this size to be able to carry one SCU? Because the MTV, you have to split it into 4 boxes. With this ship, with this thing, you could put one SCU box in the back, and you've got all your freaking looting. You got 2 people you can drive in with to the bunkers and stuff. Bro, okay, I'm really excited for the UTV.
Yay! Hey, little guy.
I'm pumped for that one.
The Captains of Industry promotion, which sees the return of many cargo, mining, salvage vehicles, and more. And then in 472, about 2 weeks after that, that's where Nyx expands once again with a whole host of new missions, including
could have shown the whole
the return of courier and delivery assignments.
Let's go.
Bombing runs.
Honestly, my favorite part about the courier stuff is like that feels like it's getting closer and closer to the idea of delivering artifacts, of smuggling stuff in and out of dangerous locations. There's like this really good mission that they had. I don't have the footage for it. You guys might remember from 2021 CitizenCon. They had the guy go down to Pyro on Bloom, and he did a little trade with a merchant, and you get this artifact, and you like, it builds this idea in your mind that there are things in this game that are valuable that you have to go to places to get and turn them back to people who don't want to go to those places. And we've never gotten that. They say that the courier missions are going to be small handheld boxes and objects. So I'm hoping this starts to lead us in that direction.
And those delightful destroy item engagements as they all come into play using the rockless breaker stations that we talked about before.
They're bringing back quite a few of the 4.0
Altogether,
missions.
the Alpha 4.7 era will deliver new content about every 2 weeks between now and 4.8, which is another way the development team is working to ensure that there's always something new for as many Star Citizens as possible. And before we go, there's one more thing that we can show you coming to Alpha 4.7 next week. Yeah, but we can only do it super quickly because we're jerks.
Aurora.
You could say a new start for
Aurora. Mark II Aurora. All right, we're playing this slow. Yeah, we got to get all the looks. Crank it down. That looks very Scorpius shaped. Not gonna lie, that looks ridiculously sleek for an Aurora. Wow. Like, it's got some sharp angles on the back here, I think. It could just be blurry, but it definitely has like a mantis look to it almost. Even the front of it, you can see kind of has the smaller shapes sticking out in front of it like the mantis as opposed to a single block like the Aurora. Yeah, dude, that's definitely Aurora shaped. Not any other great shots of it other than like the freaking camera's just swinging here. Right here. And you start to see the shape. And you can tell that's an Aurora for sure. It still has the general shape of it, but obviously there's much more sharp spots in there. It looks a little sleeker. Looks like it's got a little spoiler on the back here. Possibly VTOL thrusters down here underneath whatever this is. Okay. Yeah. We'll see it soon enough. And we will see if it comes in at... It's not going to come in at $45, which means basically the $45 game package is only one more step away from being gone forever.
Could say a new start for spaceflight arrives in Alpha 4.7. Come on back next week to find out more.
Every 2 weeks is kind of freaking nuts. I thought April was going to be a quieter month. All right. 4.7 is looking good, dude. The patch cycle for 4.7 is looking pretty good. I would say If they can maintain the stability that they've started to get, there's been some problems this year for sure, I understand. But if they can maintain the stability they've been starting to get throughout the year and keep making additions like they have been in 4.6 and 4.7 in terms of features and content, this is just going to continue to be a really good year. The one mystery is Squadron 42 is supposed to come out this year. Pretty good chance we're going to see it sometime around October, I think. Star Citizen might have to slow down as we get closer to that release, and that takes more of the company's resources. We don't really know. But right now, the year's looking pretty solid for Star Citizen's progress forward, and 4.7's locked in. I hope it does well. I hope it doesn't release with a whole bunch of bugs because it's interesting, and I think people are going to enjoy it. Either way, this has been your little deep dive into the last update on 4.7 before it goes live. From here on, we turn our sights towards whatever is next, which is always what we look at. Thanks for joining me for this one, guys. Hope you're having a good day. See you in the next.